call a fair peer.
Well,
He doesn't
he's
go
like
out
me.
and look for it,
He's
but
like us.
he will. Yeah,
Okay.
he'll go out and he won't shy away from it if it approaches.
Yeah, he's like us. That's what we do.
Yeah,
We don't go looking
yeah,
for it unless it's bounty.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, we do the same thing. I don't
We're
call
kind
us.
of we're what you call it in the moment PvP.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't call us fair weather. We're.
No.
Um, yeah, I thought Salty Mike was full full bore, but nope.
Yeah, he is what they call like he won't go into PvP unless the servers are running right and you know
Oh,
everything's got to be so
oh
because
yeah.
he
Now
says that
we don't we're not that bad. We go in if we got PvP, we got PvP, and that's
yeah
we just
exactly
don't
that's
we
why
just
I call us a in the moment
yeah. Because
because
if you
in
start
that moment we are PvP.
Yep. Because if you start running away or avoiding it, people will figure that out, and that's not a good thing.
Oh yeah, it's like hanging a sign, a kick me sign on the back.
Exactly. And the good thing is because we've actually made a name for ourselves. There's a lot of people know who we are. They don't know who we are personal wise. They just have heard of USNC. Um,
Right.
and I mean, we really got a lot of publicity when Jumptown first came out because we went in.
Oh yeah, where y'all went in and basically took over.
Yep. We kicked the PvPers. We kicked the PvPers ass, and it was. I think the big thing was that we did it by using military tactics and strategy. We didn't just go in and overwhelm them. There was 17 of us, but we went in with two tanks, two ballistas, um, set up by. We had four fighters in the sky, and the rest of the guys. We had one sniper team, dedicated sniper team, and the rest were on the foot. And we went in. I was running a ballista. Um, we went in and we took it over, and then held it for 7 hours.
Wow.
It was fun though. It was a blast. Um,
Yeah, those were the good old days.
yep. They find well they finally gave up when they came in with an A2 and some A2 and a Cutlass and a couple other ships. And
Uh-huh.
as soon as they were in range, I let loose with a size 7 off the ballista.
Oh wow.
Yep. And then I let loose the second one. And
Yeah,
I did I did
they
well, the timing was
bumped
perfect.
the
Well, the timing
yeah
turned out
they
to be
I think they
perfect.
bumped the ballista now.
Oh yeah. But they've also bulked the C2 or the A1 and stuff too. But the timing, I got lucky because the only thing we can figure is they must have just dropped the bomb when the first size 7 got there because not only did it take out the C2 or the A1, it took out the Cutlass
Hmm.
too that was flying right next to him.
Oh wow.
And so it took them both out, and everybody just stopped. It was like, holy shit! And that was the end of them. They didn't come back again. Um,
Yeah.
and then
Well.
two of the bad guys joined USNC.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's pretty nice.
yeah. One of them was Jinx, Neve's Jinx.
Oh really?
Yep. I can't remember who the other one was off the top.
I haven't seen Gene in
Yeah.
a while
Well, it's been a
on here.
couple. He was here a couple weeks ago.
Oh okay.
He's not on as much as he used to be, but a lot of people aren't. So, you know.
But yeah, I was listening to normally Buzzcut Psycho. He's a big pro PvPer. Like
Yep.
he's talking for the PvPers.
Yep.
But here lately, he's been like, I see what the problem is
Yep.
here with PvP.
Yep. Yep. Even
It's bad.
well, yeah, and a lot of PvPers like me are or people that will do PvP like me, I should say. because I don't go out hunting
Uh huh.
for it, are saying the same thing. There are times I don't want to have anything to do with other players. I just want to relax, enjoy myself, and do something different, you know?
Yeah.
And I shouldn't have to be forced to do something to earn the good stuff, you know?
Yeah.
If
Exactly.
I want to earn it doing salvage, I earn it that way. If I want to do it mining, I earn it that way. If I want to do it medical,
Yep.
whatever. And SIG has not gotten the message yet. Or like I said,
Nope.
they're digging their own hole and they don't even realize it.
Oh yeah. Definitely what's happening here.
Yep.
And people are telling him, but they're just not listening.
Yep. They're not listening. And the other problem is most people. I've been using the double argument. I've been saying not only is this the problem, but a lot of people I notice are not recognizing the second part of this. And I said the second part of this is Sig is going all excited and proud of this new Balikar mission, right?
Yeah.
It's rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to do it
That's
step
what
by
it is.
step. It's rinse and repeat.
Very linear. It's very go here,
Yep.
get this,
And
do
people,
that.
yep. And I've had people sit back and go, "Holy shit, you're right." It's like, what the fuck, Sig thing? It's like, yeah, exactly. They keep
Mm-hmm.
doing this. Don't they understand that people, after a week or two, after they've done it 10 times, it gets old? You know, you're not,
I guess not, because
I mean, well, and look at it this way: if they keep doing this with all the bigger missions, and let's say at some point we get to 50 sectors, whatever, doesn't matter the number, but we get a whole bunch of
right.
sectors. If everybody's done all the rinse and repeat mission in a sector, they'll never go back to that sector. There's nothing
Nope.
there for them.
Yep.
If you
So
make,
they're claiming that this is what they call a sandbox event.
yeah, which is say it's
It's
going
the
to
furthest thing from a sandbox.
exactly. You're exactly right. This is not a sandbox event. This is a freaking PvP, rinse and repeat. Follow the yellow brick road or else. That's it. There's no deviation.
Yep.
There's no alteration. There's no dynamic changes. There's no. If it were dynamic, one, it would change locations. Um, and I think they're making what 6 locations the last I heard. They're all in the same place, just like the Hathor missions. They're all in the same fucking
Yep.
place. Um,
Yep.
now
And
Hathor, you can kind
everyone
of understand.
knows
Well,
where
Hathor,
to go.
yeah, Hathor you can kind of understand because you're using a space station and the mining location below that laser. So that one you kind
Right.
of understand. But
Yeah.
with the Valikar, I assume they should be mobile. I mean, what's a what? Why are you going to have a worm that lives in the same spot, and never moves? You know? um,
Yeah. Exactly.
they could do something like that. They could take and have the numbers of enemies completely altered, or you get lucky and you you come up to the place instead of having to shoot all the civilians, they're having a tour day, and you have to try and sneak away to get into the secure areas, that kind of thing. Or you come in and for some odd reason, or you can come in and you can hit a if you can get to a certain console, you can hit the evacuation order to fire contamination or something, and get everybody to leave so that you can get the egg.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
you know they could switch it up, and then they could also
Oh
switch it
yeah.
up so that you could find a vehicle that you can drive that's hardened against the radiation, or even ships that are in a hangar if you can break into it that you could use, instead of the shuttle, that type of
Yeah.
thing. It's just they need to make them dynamic, and until they do that, why did I lose my sound?
Did it come off of your thing
Well,
there?
it just came back up. What the hell?
Or? Huh.
So yeah, they
Yeah.
have
I
got
put
to start
one of the
thinking.
videos. I put the video I saw of on YouTube of Buzzcut.
Huh?
I put it up in the thing there. It
Okay.
says this event highlights the problem.
Yep. Yep.
There's also another one that I saw. It was a pretty good one.
Yep.
Um,
Well,
it's all about multi-crew.
yep. Yeah, and the other thing that SIG
And
is,
how it still stuck.
well, yeah. And the other thing SIG is not recognizing is that PvPers, for the most part, don't spend money. That's why they play all the different games they play. They get the basic, and then they go in and FPS everything PvP. They don't spend money on
Yep.
ships. They don't spend money on anything that's worth of real value. They just get what they need to PvP, and that's it. And SIG has not figured that out. That the money spenders are people that are playing the game for the game, not PvP, and that's it. They're not the people spending the money are not speedrunners playing, FPS
Right.
speedrunning,
Yeah. Exactly.
and that's one of the big mistakes that SIG has got to pull their heads out because they are not understanding
Oh
at
no, they
all,
are.
and that's in the proof of these missions. And the sad part is, now what? Come on, what the hell? Now it's not locked up. What the hell's going on here? Um, there we go.
Here's
They
the
have,
other thing right here. This is the one I told you where he talked about PvP still sucks.
yep,
He used to be on the side of, if you don't like PvP, then hire an escort or something like that. But
yeah,
he understands now that you can't always do that.
yep, yep. And and Sig could even actually turn this around. All they got to do is sit down and make missions for all the different careers at the level that they've made them for the PvP side.
Oh yeah.
That's all you got to do. Make the same, make nice, good missions for people that mine, or people that and salvage, and people running cargo. Put a little story behind it, and they have to follow the steps of the story to reach, the goal of getting some of the loot that they get, and to keep the
Yep,
PvPers from
exactly.
hassling it. Yeah, and to keep PvPers from hassling it, um, make the crime levels so dramatic and so big, and make the problem hard enough that the PvPers can't get through the process unless they work on increasing their rep, that type
Oh
of thing.
yeah, yeah. Exactly.
And that's how and you put the good missions in Stanton, of course, and you make it hard for the pirates and the PvPs to accomplish. And all they would have to do there is you have to go to this station, you have to go to this landing zone and pick up this tablet from this guy, and you got to go to this one and pick up another tablet from that person, and you have to get this component from this site. You know, well, PvPers that are level 3 or higher are not going to be going to landing zones
Oh yeah, exactly.
unless they change their reputation. And
But he also did one on how CIG fails to understand what combined arm.
yep. Oh yeah, that's a big one. We military have been bitching about that. They don't have a
Yeah,
freaking clue.
he explains it. He explains it in detail.
Yep.
They just don't get it.
Nope, they don't. And it's just like their so-called weapon expert that they have. It's like,
Yeah.
are you freaking kidding us? What's sad is that SIG years ago asked a bunch of us military if we'd be willing to consult. And we all said yeah. you know, not getting paid,
Right.
but to consult.
Uh-huh.
And we all said yeah, and a week later that was kiboshed by somebody. And we all know who it was probably kiboshed by. Their so-called weapon expert, of course. And their so-called weapon expert doesn't have a freaking clue what he's doing. Never has. I mean, I think we talked about when he talked about going sideways up steps, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, like the guy who said that he can't hold a weapon and move sideways up
Correct.
steps.
Yep. It was. We all almost fell out of our damn chairs. It was like, what? So for 24 years, I did not walk up any steps in combat mode with the weapon in full ready, sighted in, because human beings can't do that.
And you know what the interesting thing is? 7 months ago, he put out a video
Mm-hmm.
that talks about how organizations will take over Star Citizen. And what is happening?
It was exactly that. It's already
Yep,
happening.
it's,
Yep.
he said there's no way of getting around it.
Yep.
The organizations are going to take over this game.
Yep. And mark my words, Test Squadron will probably be at the lead just because they've got 24,000 members.
Oh yeah, yeah, they're so proud about that.
Yeah, I know. To me, it's like, why are these people dumb enough to go to a org that nobody knows who you are, and they're so big that it's like, how do you manage that? You know,
Yeah, exactly.
you just which is also why I've said with USNC, at least we are keeping it where I want, which is below 100 members. The day may come where we decide to increase to 150 or something like that, but I ain't going any higher.
Right,
I'm
because
not
there's
here.
just way too much
Yeah,
to
I'm not
take on.
right. I'm not here to manage an org. I'm here to play the damn game. And I've told
Exactly.
everybody in USNC as they've come in as new or what, I've been saying, mark my words, when we get org tools, I will be assigning duties because I'm not doing it all myself. You know, you will have a job if you're going to be part of
Oh yeah,
USNC. And I said, consider that that's part of your payment for having access to 300 plus ships.
yeah.
Because
I, I can see that.
yeah, if I'm going to let everybody fly my ships, then you got to do something to earn that keep we haven't, and like I've said before too, everybody's going to have to contribute credits and gear at well, maybe not gear. I would like to get it where we can buy enough gear as an org that people can use that gear, that we can equip our own people, basically, that type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, Musk has that all the time. They call it like I think in Star Trek, it's called a fleet bank,
Yeah,
or
yeah. I mean,
it's where all the unused gear and guns and all that they go in there, and if
yep,
someone needs something, they go into the fleet bank.
yeah. Well, you've seen me doing that already. Um,
Yeah,
but I mean, I also want to set up so that if we're going to be doing this, this is the armor sets we'll use, the weapon sets we use, because that way,
right. Yeah,
well, and the the idea behind it is one, we represent the org if we're doing an org thing, and two,
yeah.
we're also um, using the same ammo.
Not different guns,
Yep,
different ammo.
exactly. So for I mean, and I'm talking
Right.
about official things that we do as an org. I'm not talking about every day just like we play on. I'm talking
Right.
about
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
something official. If we're going to do a combat, you want everybody on the same page
Yep.
when it
With
comes
the
to.
same equipment.
Yep, same equipment. One for identification purposes, obviously, but also so that
Mm-hmm.
if one goes down and can't be brought back or whatever, you can grab some ammo off of them and don't have to worry about guessing what they got on them. You'll know that
Yeah, it's like
yeah, if we're carrying P4s, everybody's going to have P4 ammo, you know,
right. Yeah,
that type of
exactly.
thing. Um, and that stuff we'll figure out later. And that I want the org to cover to pay for. But the one thing people are going to have to do, and we'll figure later on, we'll figure out how much and all that shit. But people are going to have to donate to the credit fund because there's no way
Right. Yeah.
I won't be able to fund all that myself. No freaking way.
Well, that should just shouldn't be a problem, especially if they're out, doing their normal thing.
Right,
They're gonna make credit.
right, exactly.
It's just like P. Gill and I, we've donated a lot of,
Yep,
credit
yep. Which
to
is
our little shenanigans.
right, and that's why we've been able to use our bigger ships and stuff for stuff because of you guys, keeping things afloat. Because if you didn't, I can't afford it. I don't make enough credits to keep all this stuff going, especially with
Yeah,
Polaris and Idris.
exactly.
Polaris and Idris, yeah, it was 6 million the other night to take care of the Idris.
Oh wow.
Yep, and that was what I would call light damage and 6 torpedoes. No, that was Polaris. Light damage and 6 torpedoes.
Holy crap.
Yep, 6 million, which left me with 4 million. And that's the other thing Sig has got to freaking wake up about. You have got to make the missions pay out more.
Oh
They
yeah,
have to.
yeah. Especially when you use the hardware that costs more than the
Exactly.
mission reward is.
Yep. Yep. I mean, I think having torpedoes at 500,000 credits, I think is a good idea. But you also have to make missions that are tough as hell and require a capital ship, but they pay out. So if your capital ship is, badly damaged and you use up your weapon systems, the payout is going to, be enough to deal with it. And the way they do that,
Yeah,
the problem is you can't come up with a credit amount to do that. That's not how you do it though. What they need to
right.
do is say, here's the contract. The contract will pay 100,000 per crew member. This contract comes with 100% rearm refuel guarantee, or it comes with
Right.
an
Yeah.
80%. We'll cover 80% of your expenses, that type of thing. And you can even have
Right.
missions that
Yeah.
say we'll pay you out 5 million, but there's no repair, no refuel. You'll have to
Yeah. This way you know what you're getting yourself into.
exactly, and that's how they got to do it.
Because that's one thing I have noticed about these missions is when you look on the contracts tab, there's very, very vague information on the mission.
Yep. Yeah, and they got to change that.
You, they're gonna have to,
Yep.
because
Yepers.
no one goes into a mission not knowing the lay of the land, the
The information
the
where you're going.
possible hardware that's going to be there.
Yep. Possible enemies that might be there. Who controls the sector? What kind of planets the sector? All that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. If you're going to use military ships, you
Yep.
need to do this the way the military do it.
Exactly. Yep. You have to. We need to make an operational order, and a
Mm-hmm.
overall um, order of battle as well. It's you got to, otherwise you can't plan shit properly, and that
Oh yeah,
includes
I
the
mean
expenses and stuff. I
you
mean,
can
it's
plan, you can plan as much as you can plan, but not enough that would be uh, worth going there and risking the life that you are going to eventually hold very dear,
yep, yep, yeah. So, yep,
especially when they get death of a spaceman.
yep, that's exactly right. But yeah, they got to come up with, they got to get their payout system. With now that we've got capital ships, they got to make some changes, and they got to do it to these missions and start saying, okay, have an option. Like I just said, this mission might have an 80% payout for repair and refuel. This one might have 50%, but the payout is higher. This one might have 100% payout for the 100% coverage of refuel and rearm, but you only get this much credits for completing the mission. That kind of thing. I mean,
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
that's what they've got to do, and hopefully they understand that. It's been hilarious how many people have tried to come up with ways of doing payouts, for missions and stuff. I said, and I repeated what I just said here, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't even think of that." It's like, really? Have you
Well, the
ever?
problem is they're trying to put a credit amount on. Okay, this requires this much effort. It's that whole EBR, is that what they call it?
Yep,
Effort versus reward.
yep,
Oh, well, it's this much effort, so this effort's worth this much reward.
yep. That's right.
And they're trying to put a credit amount on something that you can't
Put a credit.
quantify
Exactly.
in a credit amount
Yep. That's exactly right. I mean, it's.
because things happen,
Yep,
shit happens,
yep.
and
Murphy shows
if
up.
shit happened in the middle of you doing this contract, guess what? You just completely
Screwed your.
negated
Screwed.
any reward that you're going to get from this contract.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Yep. And it's
I
just
think they're not taking that into account.
they're not. There is that you, there's not. It's obvious they're not.
Hmm.
And you know, it's just they've got to get up. They got to get some of this stuff done and done, and stop putzing around with all these new things that they want to throw into the game, these events and shit. Stop wasting time. Put
Oh yeah,
the mission team, no, take that mission team and have them go back over the last 300 missions that are not in the game because they broke and you've never fixed them.
yeah. Instead of putting new missions.
Yeah. Fix the stuff we already have had. That's what the mission team should be doing. Because I guarantee you, if you fix all the missions that we've had over 8 years that we've been in a PU, you're going
You
to
have
have
a
more
lot of
people.
content.
You're going to have people playing this game day in and day out because never going to get bored. They're going to have all the missions that they want to play. And the big thing is some of those missions were actually partially dynamic too.
Yeah.
Different locations, that kind of thing. I mean, even
Well,
the
you saw what happened when they took the 890 jump mission out. Oh, people were screaming bloody murder.
yeah. Well, look at now the UGF. They built all these UGFs. Where's the missions?
Yeah, exactly.
The few missions they did put
Oh,
in for it are gone too. You notice that?
yeah, I noticed that. Like they talked about how this is going to be the hub of
Yep.
you know
Yep.
transport and cargo
Yep.
and where all the people come together and
Yep. And now it's all gone.
UGMs are barren, desolate, almost like ghost town.
Yep. There's nothing there for all that work. And Sig can't
And all
understand why
that
people are
time,
upset.
like they spent a lot of time telling us, "Oh, it's going to be this great thing.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to go here and get, take cargo and take and run, cargo from one side of the facility to another, and
Yep.
you, all these little missions that could have had, and there's nothing.
Yep. Exactly right.
Where the more I think about it, the more I wonder what made them think that they could make the game they want to make.
I don't know. I think personally, we were talking about this the other night. I think part of the problem is that somebody is not managing this project completely the right way. And I think too many of the devs at SIG are working things from their own perspective, not what the design's supposed to be. In other words, they like PvP. That's why everything's PvP.
Ah,
I think that's what's happening
could be on here.
because that's the only thing that I can think of that makes sense. You know?
Yeah, because I mean they are going real. They're pushing hard on this PvP
Yep.
trail.
And and the sad part of it is that the 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 core of the PvP players are the loudest whiners too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But you know,
And they're also the ones that put the salt in the wound.
yep. And they're also the younger backers. And I
Oh
think
yeah.
Chris Roberts has forgot that the people that put him on the map with us are the backers that remember Wing Commander and Freelancer.
I
We're the
used to
ones,
love playing those games.
yeah, and we're the ones that gave him this chance. And they're it's like they've forgotten that. Without us, this would not exist.
Nope.
It would not exist at all. Squadron
It definitely wouldn't
42,
be to the point it is now.
yeah. Well, Squadron 42 might exist, but it wouldn't be even close to what it is now with all the actors and everything. Squadron 42 would have been just another linear Wing Commander story, Wing Commander style story with decent graphics, and and out, by 2014, like it was supposed to be. But instead, he got an entire two generations of old time gamers that came in and believed him, and here we are now. The
Yep.
question is he going to deliver?
It's a good question because a lot of people put a lot of money.
Yep, and yeah, I'm one of them because
Right there
I
with
believe
you.
it, huh?
I said I'm right there with you.
Yep. I mean, you know, like we said, I don't have a problem with PvP. What I have a problem with is everything is becoming centric to PvP. And if you remember the first 5 years, all they talked about was multi-crew, multi-crew. And here we are 13 years in, and there is still no multi-crew.
Yeah.
Sure,
I mean,
you can group, you can make a basic group, and that's it. There's no
but the
tools.
problem is turrets are not effective.
Well, there's no tools or anything. Like for example, if you pull 20 people into an Idris, there's no organizational function. There's no battle computers. There's no fleet control. There's no way to talk to squadrons like you launch aircraft or whatever. There's no.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
nothing. You can't even
Yeah,
lock your own
there's
freaking
not.
doors. There's no controls. Nothing.
And then if you do get anyone to actually get on the same page, whatever they're doing may be pointless because again, turrets are not effective, especially against light fighters.
Uh,
Oh, the projectile speeds is just not there.
well, the I don't know. I've been having if they're set up with the right gyro and the right traverse speed, they do a pretty good job now. But I don't think that'll change much until they do blades.
Right. Yeah, if you get a chance, take a look at the video on Multi Crew Still Sucks,
Uh-huh.
and he'll explain some of the stuff that I was talking about
Yep.
because I've actually come into this, especially if I was multi-crewing on. I find it hard to hit the target sometimes because where I fire, the projectile should be there, but it's not.
Yep.
I miss more of the shots than I hit.
Are you well? Are you sure you're following the right part of the pip? Because
Yeah.
it is pretty accurate now. I mean, I can.
Well, I'm talking about earlier
Oh yeah, now
before
now.
before now.
Well, it's a lot more dialed in now. As long as you're using the right pip, what I do is make sure to turn off multiple pips per weapon. It also helps to use
Yeah.
weapons with the same speed, so you only get one pip that tracks. And
Yeah.
it's and now it's got both identifiers and a sound that goes with it when you hit the target.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So visually you get an indication and the sound with it, and it's working pretty well. And then the zoom in mode, of course, that's the tough part because you zoom in, you know, you know how
Eh,
zoom works. You move your mouse a little bit and it goes flying when you're
Yeah,
zoomed in.
exactly. So you have to turn your sensitivity down
Yep.
real so you can not go flying everywhere.
What helps me is, believe it or not, the Toby. That's what helps me. Because when I
Oh
turn
wow.
when I turn my head, the turret and the gimbals can track the target. They can't track it perfectly. That's your job, but enough that you're
Right.
not you're not flying all over the place. Let's see. Where did I put that Hornet? I left that at the gateway, didn't I? Damn, it's almost 10 o'clock already. Yeah, I guess I
Yeah,
did.
no.
I guess I did get a late start. I guess I'm not gonna get doing anything real big then. Yep, it's at the Pyro Gateway.
I thought about getting on, but I'm too exhausted,
Yeah, I just realized how late it
and
was
I
too.
really don't want to fight with this game.
Yep. Well, I made it back. That was
And
the one goal I had to have.
that's just one more thing that
Yep.
they need to understand is it becomes almost like a job
Yep.
playing this game.
Yep. It's actually not even that easy. It's worse than a job. Because a job, at least when you get something done, it doesn't undo itself,
Very true.
and you actually get something out of the job. Whereas this,
Oh
you
yeah,
work the job for 4 hours and you lose all your shit and you get nothing else from it. I mean,
yeah.
it's like
And then you have to do it again next time.
yep. Only this time another bug shows up, completely different that causes the same the same
Same
result.
end result.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I in some of the posts and stuff I've written, I said it clearly. I'm no longer having fun. I'm spending all my time working around bugs and doing mundane tasks that shouldn't take 4 hours to freaking do.
I agree. That's one of the main things. Like any other person would have already added what do they call it, quick outfits.
Yep,
Where you can set up your armor and
yep,
little outfits, and you just put it on like that.
yep. And
If
it's
you're going to go with the role playing game, then that would be one of the things that would be important
yep.
because it reduces the time that you
Well,
have trying to get everything set up right.
yep. I haven't tested it, but I guess what did they make it so that the Mac, the ATLS, you can call up on the cargo elevator in 4.2?
That's what they said.
What about everything else?
Yeah, right now it's just the mech
Yeah.
that I think of.
So what's the fucking point? What about the other mechs? What about all the other small vehicles?
Well, I think all the mechs can be brought up on the thing, but the
I
vehicles
thought it was
still
just that
have to be brought up on ship elevator.
Yeah, I thought it was just the first mech. I don't know. It could be all
Uh,
mechs.
yeah, I think it is all mech.
Okay, but still, that's not acceptable. All the other smaller vehicles that we use in our hangars, especially,
Yeah,
they couldn't
especially.
take a few minutes and say, oh, these can be pulled up on that too, because they're well within the size limit. You know,
Well, yeah, that's the main thing people aren't understanding. They're like, wait a second, you were able to get the mech up there,
but
but
not anything
not
else.
the little PTV or anything like
Or
that.
any, yeah, the pickup truck or the new MDV or whatever. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
really? And even small fighters, 85X, the Arrow, no, the Arrow B2. Oh, this, I know, um, small snow fighters, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that actually the hangars need to be redesigned so that you have different size pads in the hangar.
Yeah. Well, these hangars are placeholder. These are not our hangars.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, but I'm just saying, if they want to go with these where the floor opens up and everything,
Oh God, I hope not.
they need to have hangars that have different size pads, so you're not bringing a little small ship on a big, huge hangar pad.
I pray this is not what they're gonna do for the final hangars. Would it work like this? Somebody needs to send them
Yeah,
a
because
copy of X4 so they can freaking get a clue how they should actually work. They should be clamshell. That's what they should be. They should be clamshell. I mean, they open up. They open up and down the middle. It opens up and vertically and slides down the sides of the elevator. That's it. So in other
yeah,
words, basically, it's closed. The elevator is down below. A ship is spawned on it. The doors open upward, and as the elevator rises, the doors slide down the sides, and the elevator gets to the top. That's it. It doesn't have to go
well,
through this
yeah,
whole
because
gyration.
their timing
Yep. And
is
then,
so off.
yeah. And then when the elevator goes down, those doors slide up the sides, and when the elevator's down at the bottom, they clamshell closed. I mean,
It's
it's so obviously simple. It's what we use in real life. Like, man, I was
But
like,
what it is they've got everything set so that doors open fully, and then it sets the elevator in motion
yeah,
instead of having the elevator rising as the doors are opening.
yeah, that doesn't help. When people use the excuse, well, yeah, but the ships would be too big. Well, once the ships can clear,
They could time it.
yeah, they time it so that once the doors have opened to a certain point, the elevator starts rising where it won't interfere with a bigger ship. But
Yeah,
even
exactly.
better, use clamshell doors. You never have to worry
Yeah,
about it. The
yeah,
elevator goes up and it goes down, and you're done. That's it. There's no waiting for it to come up and then closing all the doors and then waiting for it to go down and then closing all the doors and then spawning something and then coming all the way back up again and then closing. It's like, what the? Whoever came up with this design, I don't know.
I actually like. You played Elite Dangerous, right?
Yep.
I actually like that hangar design there,
Yeah.
where the pad slides down, another pad replaces it,
Yeah.
and you go into the hangar
Yep. That would
on
have
the pad.
that would have worked too. That would have worked too. That's for sure.
It's a whole lot faster, I'll tell you that
Yep. Yep. Well, like I said,
But
same thing with X4. It's a whole lot faster. It's like 4 times faster than what we have here
yeah, yeah, exactly.
because you're
And
not.
I think that's what it is. It's everything. Understand there needs to be time sinks in the game. That is understandable.
We got enough time
But there's
sinks.
too many.
Yeah.
There's too many.
Way too many. Way too many.
I mean, it takes you an hour to 2 hours to get ready to do a and then from that point, you actually have all the bugs you got to contend with.
Yep.
You have to travel to the place, hope
Yep.
you don't run into any bugs once you get there.
Yep.
And then on top of that, you have to hope that you're not going to get game before you complete your contract.
Yep. Well, and that's
Otherwise, you have to do all of it over again.
yeah. But the other part of this is, you time sink. Why do they need time sinks? People are going to have enough to do without making fake time sinks.
Well, I was referring to, I understand what they're saying about they need some time sync.
For what?
I
For
understand
what?
what they're
For
saying about that,
right. Well,
but
yeah.
I
But what
don't
reason?
think they need this many.
No. Why? No. I'm asking seriously. Why do they even need time sinks? They're already built into the game. When you quantum travel, you gotta wait.
Yeah,
When you're working on filling a ship or moving cargo or any of that stuff, it's a wait. Why do
yeah.
they need time sinks at all? That doesn't make any sense. If a person, it doesn't make any sense. Because if
Well,
I,
those are the ones that yeah, those are the ones the
that are
time
built
sinks
in.
I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Those are the time sinks that I was talking about that I can understand.
right.
You know
Those, yeah,
that they're doing.
they're gameplay time sinks that any game would have.
But they
Medical,
put in arbitrary time sinks
right.
like
Cargo moving
the
manually.
ship. Yeah, like the ship coming up
Yeah,
and
yep,
going back down, and the
yep,
door's closing, and then the door's opening, and then
yep,
another ship comes back.
yep. Yeah, this
The
is just
hell?
an idiotic design, is what this is. I mean, it's just flat out dumb. Flat out, it's what
Yeah,
irritates me also.
gameplay timings I can understand.
Yeah, I wish they'd have just gave us back our original hangers. That's what I
Oh
wish they'd
yeah,
have done.
I would really love to see those
Yep, because
in
well,
person.
not only that, they were already instanced. That's the odd thing, is they were instant hangers, and because that's why they would expand as needed. And Sig could
Right,
have said, we'll go back, this is the design we're doing for the game, but be aware that when things start becoming real, your the dynamic part of the hangar is only going to work so far as you've upgraded your hangar. So if you start with 2 bays of extra large size, if you want 3, 4, 5, 6 bays, you're going to pay for it in the game.
right. But that gives you something to work towards in the game.
Exactly.
It gives you
Exactly.
kind of achievement.
Yep. That's exactly right. And for some
You
reason,
have a mission in mind for the goal that you want to obtain.
exactly. And that's the parts that seem to be just missing or not
Like
even realized.
the only goal right now in the game is to collect armor, collect ship, and make money.
Yeah. Yep.
That's it.
Yep. Actually, I'm not going to take
Not,
that.
hey, I want to expand my hangar, so I got to do this.
Yep. I mean,
If I
that's
want to add another ship, I need to do this.
yep.
And see, again, it's going to be real bad when they start putting insurance you got to pay for on
Yeah.
each of your ships.
Yep. Yeah.
Some of these people, like you said, have a buttload of ships.
Yep.
That's going to get expensive.
Yep. Yep. Even I have a few ships that are not LTI
Hmm.
because I
I do
couldn't
too.
get them. Yeah, because I had to get them later when I had money and not during the sale. Sadly, I don't have any major ships. I don't think that are not. I've got a few of the smaller or medium-sized ships that are. Um,
Yeah, most of mine are either 10-year or LTI,
yeah, most of what I've got
which
is LTI.
which ten years, that's a long time.
Yep.
So as far as I'm concerned, 10 years is LTI.
Yeah. Yeah, it basically is.
But if they don't get their heads out of their asses, there ain't going to be any reason for the tension.
Yep.
Be any reason for the LTI. There won't be any LTI.
Yep. That's exactly right. Exactly right.
10 o'clock. I think I'm gonna get off of here.
Yep. I'll be doing the same thing pretty shortly here. Hey, McQueen, what you up to?
All right, man. Well, you have a good one, and maybe we'll get on and play some tomorrow
All
if
right.
I'm not too tired.
Sounds good.
All right. Have a good one.
Later.
Later.
What are you up to, McQueen? Uh, yeah, I haven't been doing much testing because with my account the way it is, if they don't care to fix my account, then I'm not gonna put the time in either. Why should I mean, broken account? Hey, look at, I don't think I've shown you, but here's the other tab. Not a single piece. Oh, there's one chair. I do have one chair. Look at that. But all the furniture and everything's gone. And that's not, there's a whole bunch of shit that's gone, basically. Um, Probably about half my account. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Guess I'll go a couple more. Got a lot of placeholders though that I have no idea what they're for. That's a fuse. One thing is not like the other. That's a fuse. So what's this a fuse to? This is orbital Borg. Alright, let's see. Let's go put these in before I lose track of what I'm doing. By the way, if you look in members on Discord, there's a we found a second thing, second part of engineering that's already in the game. One of them is that you can blow fuses, which Pigil and I found out the hard way. But the second one is you can now repair ship components. There's a video on the member section showing it. Let's do this way. So sick of this inner thought system. Something should not activate unless I actually look at the damn thing. And disappearing gun. Freaking figures. Oh wait. No, it did. Oh, that's the thing sticking up. Okay. Oh, it's gonna auto reload. Or not. Damn it. Fucking thing. And my gun disappeared. This is ridiculous. course, the one I want disappeared. By the way, that's the Toby doing that. Oh shit, that's right. That thing, if I remember right, this won't fit with the turret. Oh no, I guess it wasn't this. Another ship. It just barely does not fit. Can't remember what the ship is off the top of my head now. Did I put that other one? Shit. I didn't bring a tractor beam. I could have swore I brought a tractor beam. Didn't I? They didn't put a freaking. Oh my god. You gotta be kidding. Well, it ain't gonna be there. Might find one in my house there, but I doubt you find one in the game there. Nothing in the cabin. Oh, here we go. Alright, so they did. Why can't you jump off of this? There's no window. I mean, seriously? If I want to jump off it, I should be able to jump off it. Ah, hell. Now I'm forgetting something. Put these in here. Even though I don't have a coda now because the game ate it. all due to the game and bugs, which sucks. Still think this looks pink. I don't know what they were thinking calling this copper, because it ain't copper. The skin color. let's use the elevator right now. Alright, I need... Where to put this? Oh. I forgot to put that in the ship. Oops. gonna call it a night. It's been a long day. I'll be back tomorrow and Friday because it's supposed to be raining here. So tomorrow afternoon. Oh wait, tomorrow's Wednesday. Yeah, I'll be here tomorrow later afternoon, and I'll Thursday and Friday I'll definitely be on most of the day because it's gonna rain. It's gonna rain. Whatever. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow or Thursday. Everybody have a good night.